Every great website relies on great content, especially when it comes to blog posts, customer stories, projects or portfolios, and more. But as your site grows, scaling that content efficiently becomes the key to keeping everything organized and manageable. Enter the Webflow Content Management System, or the Webflow CMS. The Webflow CMS lets you store and manage content in a structured database. Instead of manually building individual layouts or pages, you'll build flexible frameworks that directly reference the CMS. And here's the best part. With the CMS, your content becomes dynamic, so any update made in the CMS is instantly reflected everywhere that content appears. So in this lesson, we'll talk about 3 things. We'll start by understanding what dynamic content is and how it differs from static content. Then we'll break down the CMS structure to see how it organizes your content. And finally, we'll explore how dynamic content integrates into your designs using collection pages and collection lists. First part, static versus dynamic content. With static content, you're entering and managing content manually. This could be something like an image in a hero section or a mission statement on a homepage. Static content works great for things that don't need to change often, but if you're working with a lot of content, it's just not scalable. That's where dynamic content comes in. You store everything in the CMS and use flexible frameworks to display it anywhere on your site. When you or a teammate updates content in the CMS, it's instantly reflected everywhere that content is referenced. No manual updates required. Dynamic content is perfect for things like blog posts, testimonials, customer stories, and projects or portfolios. And it's not just text. With the Webflow CMS, you can work with things like images, links, color, etc. All of these things are custom fields that you define. It's all about giving you the tools to scale and manage your content efficiently, no matter how large or complex your site becomes. So that's dynamic content. Now let's look at the structure of the Webflow CMS. It starts with the collection, which is a group of related content. This is where we define our database. Within a collection, we have collection items, which are individual entries with their own specific content. And finally, inside each collection item, we have collection fields. These are customizable properties that are defined by the collection. Let's take a look at an example. Here's a collection for blog posts. The collection items are each of the individual blog posts, and the collection fields represent the content for each blog post, such as the blog text, author, thumbnail, and so on. So that's the structure. Next, let's talk about how to use your CMS content on your site. In Webflow, you can display your CMS content using collection pages and collection lists. Collection pages are individual pages for each item in a collection, like a detailed blog post. You start by building and designing what you want each item to look like and what content you want to show. Then you can bind each CMS field to those items. And just like that, you have multiple pages, one for each CMS item, each blog post. With collection lists, you can display multiple items from a collection in a list format, like a grid of links to each individual blog post on your homepage. Same procedure as before. You build your design and then you bind the CMS fields. You even have the ability to choose which items are displayed in the list with filters, or you can sort items based on specific fields. And collection lists can also go on collection pages. Like if you want to link out to other blog posts, you can do that here as well. Once your designs are set, maintaining your CMS content is simple, whether you're editing text, swapping out images, or adding new items. You can manage the content directly from the CMS panel, or you can edit dynamic content visually on the canvas, so you can see how the updated content fits into your designs. And lastly, for those wanting to harness the power of other third-party tools, you can even edit CMS content programmatically using Webflow's APIs. To learn more, head on over to developers.webflow.com. And this is just the beginning. There's so much more you can do with the Webflow CMS. Be sure to check out our additional resources at Webflow University and the Webflow Help Center. But that's a high-level overview of using dynamic content in the Webflow CMS.